Hello guys, welcome to my channel Hima Education Made Easy. Now I will be seeing what is user input in Python. So Python allows for users to give an input to this program. So that one we are calling it as user input. That means we are able to ask the user for input. Okay, so here there are some sort of differences between Python versions 2.7 to 3.6 and later 3.6. Okay, so in 2.7 it will uses the method called raw underscore input. This is how we used to give for the versions of Python which are 2.7 and the latter versions up to 3.6. But whereas in Python 3.6 and the latter versions, directly it takes input. So if you give this function, it will automatically take inputs. Okay, so now we'll see some example. So here I want to have a name. I want to define a name as user input. So here directly I'll be going with input and then I'll ask enter the name. Okay, and then I'll be going with print, in which the name is okay, name is plus username name. Okay, this is what I want to give. So here if I run it, so enter the name it will ask. So here I'll write Sudarshan, and then it will give the name is Sudarshan. Okay, this is how we are going to use it. But in Python, previous Python versions, we need to use sorry, raw underscore input. This is what we need to give, but here it shows error as we are using Python 3.9 version. Okay, so this is what the major difference between 2.7. So here I'll write it's 2.7 to 3.6 and 3.6 to now. This is how we can say it as. So here I'm going to remove this raw input. So here now if you want to enter some sort of a number, so here you need to mention int, that means integer, and we are going to close it in braces. So now whatever the string you give, it will take it as a number. So now if I give the same thing as a string, it will trace back as an error, that is integer, right? So here it is an invalid literal for integer. Okay, so here you need to enter only number. Okay, so here if I enter 10, so now here we are getting an error even after giving an integer value, that is 10, because here you will be able to see this thing can only concat string to string, not an integer. Okay, so as here we are using the plus symbol, string will concat to string and the number will be added to number. So here we need to have a simply comma, and then if we run it, then here if we enter the value of 10, it will take 10. Okay, so similarly you can take it as a float. So here it will take decimals. So here 10, here it is showing us 10.0. So it's taking it as a float value. This is how you are going to define it. So here placing a comma or concating or adding the numbers, whether you are taking uh, it as a string or whether you are taking it as integer or float, it all depends on, depending on that we are going to give the statements in print thing. Okay, So now we'll see the type. Okay, in this I'm going to use type of name. Okay, so here if I run it, I'll be able to see that after entering 10, it is going to a class of float as we have defined float. So here int if I give and if I run it, and then if I give 10, it will take into the class of integer. So here if I'm not putting anything and I'm going to delete the braces too, and if I run it, it will ask for enter the name. Even after entering 10, it will be taking it as a string class. So it means that the user input will automatically take anything as a string. That depends on us whether in which format we are going to take this input, whether it is in integer, float, or string, or complex. Okay, these are all the things we need to remember. With this, we'll be winding up this session. If you like the video, please do like, share, and subscribe.